Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you are listening very carefully to a native English speaker, and even though you clearly recognize every single word they are saying, you still feel confused, lost, and slightly frustrated because the meaning of the sentence doesn't match the literal meaning of the words?
Yes, that happens to me more often than I would like to admit, especially when someone says something like, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's just a piece of cake." And I immediately start wondering why we are suddenly talking about dessert in the middle of a serious conversation.
And that exact moment of confusion, where your brain is trying to translate word by word but cannot understand the real meaning behind the sentence, is precisely where idioms come into play. Because idioms are expressions whose meanings are completely different from the individual words that make them up. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our English Learning Podcast, where instead of just memorizing vocabulary and grammar rules in a boring and mechanical way, we focus on helping you develop real, natural communication skills that you can actually use in your daily conversations with confidence and ease.
That's right. And in today's episode, we are going to explore one of the most powerful and fascinating parts of the English language, which is idioms. Because understanding idioms is what truly helps you move from sounding like a textbook learner to sounding like someone who can communicate naturally and comfortably in real-life situations.
By the time you reach the end of this episode, not only will you understand a large number of very common idioms, but you will also feel much more confident using them in your own conversations without overthinking or translating in your head. Before we dive deeper into today's lesson, I would like you to pause for a moment and think carefully about your current level of English, and then answer this simple but important question. How many English idioms do you already know and feel confident using in real conversations?
And when you answer, try to be honest with yourself, because even if your answer is 0 or only 1 or 2, that is completely okay, and it simply means that today's lesson is going to be extremely valuable for you. Let me share a personal experience that clearly shows why idioms are so important. Because a few weeks ago, I was having a casual conversation with a native English speaker, and everything was going smoothly, until he suddenly said, "Let's just call it a day and pick this up tomorrow." At that exact moment, I felt completely confused, because although I understood each individual word, I could not understand why we were calling a day and who exactly we were calling.
That is such a perfect example. Because what your friend actually meant was simply that it was time to stop working and continue later. But without knowing the idiom, the sentence sounds strange and illogical.
Let's start with daily life idioms. Idiom 1. Call it a day.
The idiom "call it a day" is commonly used when someone decides to stop working on something, especially after they feel tired, satisfied, or believe that they have done enough for the moment and can continue later.
So, for example, if I have been studying English for several hours and my brain starts to feel tired and less focused, I might say, "I think I have done enough for today, so I'm going to call it a day and continue studying tomorrow with a fresh mind."
Idiom 2. Burn the midnight oil. The expression "burn the midnight oil" is used to describe a situation in which someone stays awake very late at night working, studying, or focusing on something important, often because they have a deadline or an urgent responsibility.
For example, before an important exam, I might say, "I had to burn the midnight oil for several nights in a row because I wanted to make sure that I was fully prepared and confident."
Idiom 3. Hit the nail on the head. When someone says, "you hit the nail on the head," they mean that you have described a situation or problem in a very accurate and precise way, without any mistake or misunderstanding.
So if you say, "The reason I am not improving my English is because I don't practice speaking enough," and that is exactly true, then you have hit the nail on the head.
Now let's move to emotions and feelings idioms.
Idiom 1. On cloud 9.
The idiom on cloud 9 is used to describe a state of extreme happiness, excitement, or emotional satisfaction, usually after achieving something important or receiving very good news.
For example, when I received my first job offer in English, I felt so happy and proud of myself that I could honestly say I was on cloud 9 for the entire day.
Idiom 2. Down in the dumps. When someone says they are down in the dumps, it means they are feeling sad, discouraged, or emotionally low, often without a very clear reason.
Yes, like when you fail a test or feel like you are not improving, you might feel down in the dumps, but that feeling is temporary and can be overcome.
Finally, let's talk about social and communication idioms.
Idiom 1. Break the ice.
The idiom break the ice refers to the action of starting a conversation in a situation where people feel shy, uncomfortable, or unfamiliar with each other, and it helps create a more relaxed and friendly atmosphere.
For instance, when meeting new people at an event, you might ask a simple question or make a light joke to break the ice and make everyone feel more comfortable.
Learning idioms might feel challenging at first, especially because their meanings are not always logical or predictable. But the truth is that every idiom you learn brings you one step closer to understanding real, natural English as it is actually spoken in everyday life.
And even if you feel slow or unsure right now, you have to remember that progress in language learning is not always immediate, but it is always happening as long as you continue practicing consistently. I have noticed that the more idioms I learn, the easier it becomes for me to understand movies, podcasts, and real conversations, because I no longer get stuck trying to translate everything word by word.
That's exactly the goal, because real fluency is not about translating. It is about understanding meaning instantly and responding naturally without hesitation. Today, we explored several important idioms, including call it a day, burn the midnight oil, hit the nail on the head, on cloud 9, and break the ice, all of which are extremely common in everyday English conversations. If you have stayed with us until this point in the episode, it means that you are truly serious about improving your English, and that level of dedication is exactly what will help you succeed in the long run.
So don't stop here. Take what you learned today, try to use at least 3 idioms in your daily life, and slowly make them part of your natural way of speaking.
And of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who is also trying to improve their English.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye everyone! Keep learning English.